and welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Neff.
I'm Edward Lewis.
Wow, Edward Lewis filling in for Charlie Cotton today.
Apparently we're live now, too.
Yeah, we are live. And if this is your first time watching us live, I just want to let you know we're going to be going over a ton of entertainment topics today. And feel free to send us a comment. We're going to be interacting with you guys at the very end of this. So if you have anything you want to say about a story that we talk about, maybe Edward's hair.
Yeah.
Should he cut the hair or should he keep the hair?
We didn't get to see it before, so hopefully it'll look good.
So yeah, feel free to leave us a note and hopefully we can get to them at the end of this. Starting off, we will be talking about the Menendez brothers. Huge development yesterday. The DA filed documents asking for a resentencing. Then we'll get into Selena Gomez. She accidentally said Diddy on stage during a charity event. We'll tell you what happened there. And lastly, Jason Kelce is eyed to be a possible late night host on ESPN, Edward. I can't wait for you to tell me about that.
Yep.
But starting off yesterday, the Menendez brothers are a step closer to potentially getting out of prison. This is insane. So the LA district attorney filed documents officially asking a judge to resentence them, and DA George Gascon filed the motion asking for a judge to change the brothers' sentences from life without parole, without the possibility of parole, to life with the possibility of parole. Because of the time served, that would allow them to potentially be released from prison immediately. And we got these documents in. They're like super long. It's like 45 pages. Yeah. But basically in the documents, the DA's office says that Erik and Lyle have been upstanding inmates and no longer present a risk to public safety. So obviously this is just the DA presenting this. A judge will have to go over it and ultimately make that decision.
Yeah, there are a bunch of speed bumps. Obviously, first and foremost, one of the family members of the Menendez brothers, according to the documents, is against this.
I believe it was Kitty's brother.
Yes.
I believe.
And then not only that, but there are some inside of the district attorney's office that are adamant that they shouldn't be let go either. So there's a lot of hurdles here. Just because George Gascon wants this to happen, it doesn't necessarily mean it will. That all being said, their argument does make sense, right? I mean, they have served time, a lot of it. I think it's 30-ish years.
Yeah.
And according to the documents, they have done some really nice things behind bars despite knowing that, or possibly knowing they would never get out, right? I mean,
right.
If you had the possibility of parole, you would imagine you'd do everything, that you can to be model citizens. But they've started organizations that have helped other inmates and this, that, and the other, even though at the time they knew that they probably would be behind bars for the rest of their lives. So
right.
I see both sides of the argument. It'll be very interesting to see what happens because at the end of the day, these are two people that did kill other people.
Right.
So,
their parents.
Yeah. So it's like, do you want that kind of people out? You know what I mean? So
I think there was like a huge movement too, like on TikTok when people started learning about the case for the first time. Obviously, this case is kind of older, so the new generation missed it. And there's just been like a huge beating drum of people just wanting these men released, especially in light of all the allegations that they had claimed their daughter sexually abused them for many, many years. At the time, I think it was thought that maybe they made this up for their case, for their defense. But now a lot of people are saying, like, look, back then it was not taken as seriously if you were a man who claimed that you were sexually abused. But now we're a different society. We should look at these cases differently if there is sexual abuse involved. And, a lot of people are comparing the Menendez case to Gypsy Rose Blanchard's case because both of them have alleged abuse elements.
Right.
Gypsy Rose, obviously, at the time of her sentencing, it was taken into account all the abuse she suffered, all the horrible surgeries her mom made her have, Munchausen by proxy, all that stuff. So actually, Gypsy didn't really get that long of a sentence, right? I think she served like 8 years or so behind bars before she was released. The Menendez brothers, I say allegedly abused because they're still serving time in prison.
There's question about it, yeah.
And in the second trial, all that was like thrown out the window. They weren't able to use that. But now that people are believing the sexual abuse allegations, I mean, they've already served 35 years or so. So it is definitely possible that this year they will be out, maybe kind of living the same life as Gypsy Rose. Lifetime show, book.
Talk shows, interviews, all that stuff, right?
And we actually got a statement from Gypsy Rose, and she said that she worries society will build them up only to tear them down, just like she says they've done to her. Because if you remember when Gypsy first got released, it was like Gypsy mania. Like everyone on TikTok was like, she should be freed. They were so happy when she was freed. And then it kind of started turning where people were like, oh, don't forget her involvement in her mom's murder.
But to be fair, wasn't all that about the stuff with her boyfriends and husband and all that stuff? And didn't she have like kind of a...
Oh, you think people didn't like her because of like her personal life?
Right. Wasn't that the case that this man was with her? Forgive me, I'm so unfamiliar with Gypsy.
Ryan, she was married to Ryan Anderson.
And as soon as she gets out, she marries another man, correct?
Well, not married. She dumped her husband. They're estranged right now.
I don't think that had anything to do with now that she's out, we're going to bully her, right? They thought her personal life was went against ways that they wanted her to live her personal life.
Which it's like to each their own, right?
Sure.
Like who are we to be like, get back with your ex or whatever.
Stay with your current one.
Moving on to Selena Gomez. She accidentally said Diddy during a charity event. So Selena Gomez was on stage giving a speech at her LA charity event Thursday night. And here's what she had to say.
I am very honored to be working with such incredible change makers. So please join me in welcoming Executive Director of Diddy. Sorry.
No Diddy.
Didi Hirsch, Lynn Morris, and Teen Line.
Fuck, I wish that. Did you have that?
Listener
you have that?
Willow
Thank
Brown,
God.
who I'm going to invite to say a few words. I really am sorry for that.
Oh my gosh.
How...
So she was trying to say someone else's name,
right,
but said Diddy, and then she like caught herself. She's like, oh boy, out of every name you could have said right now.
The person's name was D-I-D-I, and I guess as you heard in the video, it's Didi.
Yeah, Didi Hirsch.
The craziest part about this is Diddy is now like a cuss word. Like,
right,
you know what I mean?
like
she said it and there was like an audible gasp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as if like it's like
At least,
like she just dropped a slur or something. Like where that man has gone in his life in the last 6 to 12 months is wild. I mean, the fall of Diddy to now, like he's not
the fall of Diddy. Is that our new special?
It might be. We have like he went from like being this huge megastar that like
everyone wanted to go to his party.
Was amazing. Yeah, anybody wanted to be affiliated with him, like all the big A-list celebrities and this and the other, to now you can't even accidentally say his name in public.
Right, without feeling shame.
People like screaming. Like it was, even in here, there was like audible like,
yes.
The way he's fallen is like unlike anything we've ever seen before.
I know. I mean, just talk about someone like falling from like the top all the way down.
Right, to like the basement. This is as low as you can get. I mean,
boy.
To have people uttering your name and be like, how could you say that, is as low as you possibly could be in society. And he is there when just 6 to 12 months ago, he was at the top.
And I feel like there's been a lot of like coined words come from his name, like, oh, the diddler, you've been diddied, or like all these things that's now become like part of our society.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, negative for him, you know? And every single day there's some kind of new lawsuit, new allegation against people feel like they've been wronged by him. I would also feel the same if I accidentally said his name. I would be like, oh my God.
And I think everybody in the room would have the same reaction. Yeah.
Moving on to Jason Kelce. So what's going on with Jason?
So if you haven't had enough of Jason Kelce yet, you might be getting more of him. He is reportedly in talks with ESPN about a late night show. Now,
I kind of like that.
If you're familiar with ESPN's content, like a lot of their late night shows in the past,
who's texting you right now?
Work, Slack's blowing me up. A lot of their late night content is generally just highlight shows, right? It's like a recap of highlights or recap of the day with other athletes or anything like that. It's like, Monday Night Football just ended. Let's talk to Joe Buck about Monday Night Football. Tuesday World Series just ended. Let's bring in John Smoltz to talk about it. And, that kind of deal. This is apparently going to be a late night talk show in the style of Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, where he's like on a desk and interviewing people.
Do you think he can handle that? Because it's
Yes.
a lot of like banter. You have to be quick on your feet. If someone says something awkward, how do you make it not awkward?
But that's
a lot of that.
We've seen him so much now in that role, particularly with
But
New
haven't we
Heights.
seen him like not really in that role? I mean, when he's on New Heights, he's talking about like, oh, this is the kind of food I like.
But
It's
that-
not
They
groundbreaking
bring in
stuff.
celebrities and they bring in guests and they talk to them and on ESPN.
So he knows how to interview.
Yeah, and on his Monday Night Football analyst show, he's kind of like the quirky guy. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
not really bringing a lot of X and O's. He does sometimes, but a lot of it is like for example, on his debut, he said tits. You know what I mean? Like,
Whoa,
he's
whoa!
like,
Why
he's
can't you say it
he's
with
getting-
such pronunciation like that?
He
Good
gets
Lord,
racy,
really
you know what I
hit
mean?
that T.
He's kind of a little bit vulgar, a little bit crass, and that's like kind of the audience that a late night show wants, right?
Yeah,
You wanna
okay.
Be able to make like funny jokes at the expense of not being PC. So I could see it working.
Yeah, I could too, actually.
Apparently, it's in the talks to be like in January, 5 Friday nights in a row, and if it does well, it's going to be a big thing. I like the idea. I
Do
mean,
you think this is the Taylor Swift effect?
obviously, did anybody know who Jason Kelce was outside of football?
I
A year
know.
ago? Yeah.
No.
I mean, I knew him. I'm a big Cowboys fan. He plays in the NFC East with the Philadelphia Eagles, and like I knew him. He's a great football player. I had no idea though. He's a good personality. I really like him.
Yeah,
Like,
good for him.
it's deserved. It's not like it's like oh, Taylor Swift came along and now Jason's getting these roles he shouldn't. Like he's actually really impressive on TV and he's really good on his New Heights podcast. And
Is
you know
he
me.
better than Tom Brady?
Yes, they're totally.
Wow.
They're two totally different people though. Like one is PC, polished,
Yes.
teacher's pet, and the other is like
Teacher's pet.
shirts unbuttoned and drinking beers on the side.
Cracking beers, chugging them, shirt off.
It's apples to oranges. If
Yeah.
I wanted somebody to be like running my school, my elementary school, it'd be Tom Brady. If I want to go drinking with somebody, it'd be Jason Kelce. So
Yeah. Okay. So Edward, seal of approval.
yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But right now it's just talks. But if it happens, it's only a couple months away from being Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at the comments. Edward's first time.
Oh boy.
So for the Erik and Lyle story, the real me too said free Lyle and Erik. Wow, lots of supporters out there. But then Stellar said, I think they should stay locked up. What if they lied about the abuse?
Right, that's-
Which, yeah, that is the risk
Everybody's
that we
question,
take.
right? Yeah.
And then someone called the most beautiful woman in the world. Hey, is that my account? No, I'm just kidding. Said, I hope Menendez brothers are released and have a great life when they get out. Yeah, I think, if we do as a society believe them, I think they should get to enjoy their
Even
life.
still, 35 years or whatever they've been locked up is a long time.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if they feel like they've been rehabilitated, I think
Let
it's-
them be,
yeah.
let them be free.
Yeah.
All right, for the Selena Gomez topic, Joker's oddball said, shouldn't joke and laugh about Combs. Yeah, I know.
That is interesting too.
Still a little dicey.
I thought when she said the Diddy part instead of Diddy, like just let it go. When she starts like being like, ha ha,
just quickly
Diddy,
correct, yeah.
and she starts like,
Yeah.
man, I didn't.
I think she surprised herself,
Yeah.
though. For the Jason Kelce story, David Zalvidar said ESPN tried that with Katie Nolan and failed.
It did.
Wow.
And they tried it with Barstool. They had a Barstool van. It's not the like I go to ESPN to watch highlights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jason Kelce does have a chance to transcend that because like I said, he is such a unique character. But if you're not breaking down highlights, you're not talking X's and O's. I don't need you to be funny. If you're funny, I'll go to Jimmy Kimmel, right? Like,
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know. I'm kind of with that.
And then just a couple miscellaneous comments here. Heather's Craft Corner, that's so cute, said, where's our beloved Charlie Cotton? Do you know where he is?
Yeah, he's on a field trip.
Yeah, he took his kid to a field trip today. He's like chaperoning all these kids, which I don't know if this is going to end well for Charlie today, so pray for him. Joker's Oddball again said, my hair used to be that gold. Oh, your hair's gold. That's not doing anything for anyone. And then Rockwell said, Charlie's voice sounds so different in 2024.
Wow.
Oh, like bad or good? Like more squeaky, more high pitch, more
different.
like nails on a chalkboard?
It's not the same.
Why is it not the
It's
same?
just not who you used to be,
I think it's so funny. People always say like, oh, stop doing your fake Valley Girl accent. But I think people don't realize the quote fake Valley Girl accent, that's my real voice.
Real Valley Girl
That's my real voice.
Yeah.
When I'm talking like this, that is my fake reporter voice where I'm trying to conceal. So look, guys, I'm just being me. I've been a Valley Girl since I was a kid, since I was a newborn.
Valley Girl since you were a Valley Girl.
Hey. All right, Edward, quickly, what are you doing this weekend?
I don't know. World Series tonight, World Series tomorrow night. Cowboys Sunday night?
Like you're going or you're watching on
I
TV?
don't have $1,000 to spend on tickets.
I know.
Yeah.
I joined a raffle. I'm going to learn today at noon if I win 2 tickets to the game tonight.
Who taking if you?
My boyfriend, my side guy.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My husband. Though I will want to take a look and see how much I could resell them for if I win.
God, that's...
What? Is that bad?
You can't win a raffle and then sell them.
Why? You can't?
No, that's such bad karma.
Oh, who cares?
Oh, wait, wow.
I've already got a lot of bad karma. So I'll just add it on.
Sheesh.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on Monday.